Hello and welcome to Robotics Surgery Insights. Thanks for joining me today, Hank.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Could you please start by providing a quick overview to yourself and your role at MPE?
My name is Hank Kohl. I'm a recovering engineer and I'm the CEO here at MPE. MPE is a vertically integrated organization focusing on design, development, and manufacturing of complex electro-mechanical medical device systems. We're located here in Milwaukee and we have a global presence.
Excellent. MPE has an extremely strong reputation in complex electromechanical systems. How would you define your role specifically in the surgical robotics space?
Here at MPE, we position ourselves as an end-to-end strategic partner for surgical robotic companies. We really work from early concept through the full-scale global manufacturing lifecycle support of a complete system. We're essentially the company that marries all of the different technologies in use to bring a surgical robotic technology to life into a product. What makes us different is our ability to integrate industrial design, engineering, and manufacturing under one ISO 13485 certified quality system. We align that with all the FDA requirements. We have deep clinical knowledge here on the use of this technology in the surgical theater. We're not just building components, we're helping customers bring complete market-ready robotic systems to life. Things like multi-arm robotic platforms, cobot integrated systems, image-guided and AI-enabled systems, capital equipment, carts, consoles, energy platforms, all of that together in one organization with a hyper-focus just on these complex systems.
Brilliant. So we see many companies struggling with this transition from prototype to production. Where would you say MPE creates the most value?
And really what happens typically in industry is there's a disconnect between the product development and prototyping process versus the production needs. So here, that transition from prototype to scalable production is where the most risk exists as a result of that. And it's exactly where we excel. We bring a structured design for manufacturing and design to cost discipline early in that conversation with our customers so that we can define what done looks like early for everyone. And that allows us to design very early on with a target cost at scale concept, global manufacturability consideration, regulatory compliance, supply chain resilience, as you can imagine, is very critical with the complexity of these systems. And then our stage gate process is aligned with 21 CFR 820 design history file requirements. And that ensures every prototype we build is production intent, not just proof of concept.
Interesting. And how important is industrial design and human factors engineering in surgical robotics, especially with the increasing sort of human to machine interaction?
That's a really good question, and it's something that's not truly considered by a lot of early stage development in surgical robotics because it's a new field, right? So industrial design and human factors engineering is really critical to understand the workflow within a surgical theater. We have to consider the surgeon's needs, the clinical staff needs, the hospital system needs. The surgeon's looking for precision, ergonomics, and workflow. The clinical staff is looking at ease of use, access, setup, maintenance. The hospital systems are considering space optimization, mobility, serviceability for uptime. So we really truly focus on integrating human factors engineering and industrial design from the beginning, bringing our deep clinical knowledge into that conversation. And we're really driving for intuitive user interface, optimal ergonomics across diverse users. Strong brand identity is really important in the space, as you can appreciate, and then improved adoption in clinical environments for ease of use. You know, we're really, all we do here is design very complex electromechanical medical device systems. We're not designing soup cans one day, dashboards another, medical devices on the third day. We're hyper-focused, and as a result of that, we have deep clinical bench of knowledge and resource and understanding of that workflow that we can bring to that conversation with these customers.
Brilliant. Surgical robotic systems are increasingly complex, sort of combining hardware, software, AI, navigation, and imaging. How does MPE manage this integration?
That's really the core of who we are and what we do. We are that integrator of all these different technologies and have deep experience in that space. We specialize in system level architecture and integration, bringing together mechanical, electromechanical systems. We're bringing the needs of manufacturing into that design very early on, so there's not a disconnect later. We're working very closely on embedded electronics and power management, the correct selection of robotic arms or end effectors and motion control and safety. Imaging and navigation technologies are really at the forefront of automated systems and automated procedures, not just robots, but automated procedures is really how we think about this. AI-driven decision support systems, integrating that all together, working with our customers and understanding that data set. How do we keep it safe? How do we keep it compliant? How do we keep it in line with regulatory concerns when using AI or navigation integrated systems? Our team works across all these disciplines every day, and it helps us ensure these systems are not just functional, but robust, scalable, and manufacturable. We also collaborate closely with these OEMs because it's really their product in the end. We're a service to them and helping bring their science to life in a product that they're going to own.
Another challenge we're hearing about a lot across healthcare systems globally is cost pressure. How does MPE help customers remain competitive in this landscape?
Yeah, and that cost pressure is going to continue to increase. The novel aspect of surgical robotics is wearing off, and now it's a business case. And total cost of ownership from the hospital perspective is really critical to the success of surgical robotic applications. So we work very closely with our customers up front to understand what does this product need to sell for. It's really critical in their business case to understand that we're coming up with a viable product that the market will adopt and use. And it starts with a discussion around what is the total cost of procedure, what is the total cost of ownership, set that as our North Star. And with that, then we can design to that cost through that entire process. We can set a specification document that aligns with the cost target. Engineering decisions then are made all along that journey, targeting that cost to make sure we're not deviating from what done looks like. We're working with supply chain through that entire process to ensure that the target price is going to be able to be hit at scale. And supply chain resiliency is considered through that. We need to optimize the supply chain through that design cycle to make sure they're on board with the projected volumes, the life cycle of the product, mean time between failures. And then we're designing our manufacturing processes into the design up front to make sure we're hitting those targets. We don't treat cost reduction as a late stage exercise like most companies do. We're considering that very early on so that we can design to that so we can hit it, be successful day one.
Fantastic. So once a system is developed and improved, what role does MPE then play in the commercialization and beyond?
We support these customers well past development. We're designing the product for manufacturing. We are manufacturer first. So we're driving and helping them scale their product into the market over the life cycle. There's a trend in all new products as they launch in the medical device community, as they ramp up, as they're serviced through the life cycle, as they're brought back in and redesigned for newer technology and revamped for next gen. We're supporting all that with all of our manufacturing and assembly capabilities, our global supply chain management, our warehousing and logistics services, our 3PL services with direct shipment to hospitals and end users. Quite a few of the products we build here, our customers never see. Well, they're focused on their clinical side, they're focused on their sales, they're focused on their technology. We're acting as their manufacturing arm and shipping these finished product directly to their customers on their behalf. And therefore, we then also support their field service strategies, their replacement parts and upgrade strategies, their life cycle management. This allows our customers, again, to focus on their customer, which is really their critical portion of the supply delivery side.
So you personally are one of the sort of key industry experts in the space. What are some of the big trends you're seeing in the next generation of surgical robotics?
That's a really good question. As technology is being adopted and people are learning and becoming more comfortable with robotic surgeries, changeover is a critical element that needs to be considered better in this space. How do we get better optimization of the technology in the platform? How do we bring other technologies from other markets into med device so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time? There's a lot of really good technologies that we work very hard on educating ourselves to see how we can bring them to the market for better costs and faster time to market. Cobots, expansion of cobots in this space versus custom design arms is improving. Image guided and AI integrated systems are really going to be a key in the future in this space as we look to find how do we make these systems more productive, how do we make the surgeons more productive, how do we make the support staff more productive in this space. The declining populations coming into the workforce are requiring that hospital staff and surgeons are more productive to take care of the growing number of patients that they're going to need to take care of. We need to be able to find ways to make them all more productive using technology, and we need to get this product to market faster at a lower price point. When we talk about surgical robotics, people tend to think of the traditional multi-port soft tissue surgical robotic systems that are out there. We tend to think of it as how do we automate procedures across the entire healthcare using technology. Because I think we're going to see robots being deployed throughout the hospital, in and around the surgical theater for those reasons, moving into ASCs, moving into delivery areas of hospitals. How do we automate the cath lab? All of these using this technology and using robotics, AI, and emerging technology are going to be the keys to success in healthcare, in my opinion.
And if you had to summarize MPE's value proposition in one statement to potential partners, what would it be?
I would say that we transform complex surgical robotic concepts into scalable, market-ready systems faster, lower risk, and at a target cost.
Great. And my final question is, who should be reaching out to MPE?
Good question. We work with all the global OEMs that are seeking to accelerate their next generation platforms as they're thinking to develop their thesis, develop where they're going to go with technology, and then help convert their science into technology. We work with the emerging robotics companies that are preparing for clinical and commercial scale. We work with the innovators that are integrating AI, imaging, and robotics into a clinical application. If your challenge is scaling from prototype to production, hitting a cost target, understanding the market and how the product is used in the application you're considering, integrating complex systems, or accelerating time to market, that's the area that we focus on and support our customers today.
Thank you very much for your time today. It's been great speaking with you.
Thank you. Appreciate the conversation.